Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. If you didn't get a chance to finish both parts of that Chapter 3 benchmark, please do so when you can. I'll be putting in the grades sometime early next week, and I'll email anybody that missed anything. If you have any questions on any of it, of course, just continue to reach out to us. But today we are going to work on Chapter 8. We're going to start off, it's all about volume, and it starts off with the volume of a cylinder. So you'll see here it says the volume V of a cylinder is the product of the area of the base and the height of the cylinder. So product, of course, means multiplication. So you are just multiplying the area of the base, multiplying by the height. All cylinders, the base is a circle. So first thing you need to know is how do you find the area of a circle? So if you remember, the area of a circle, in this case, would be pi r squared. Well, in every case. So pi r squared is the area of a circle. So, in this case, the area of the circle equals the capital B. So if you ever see a capital B, they're talking about the area of the base. So in this case, the base is a circle. So we would find the area of the circle, so we do pi r squared times h. So basically another way to write this would be V equals pi r squared times h. And h is the height. It is the distance between the two bases in this cylinder, so the distance between this circle and this circle is known as the height of the cylinder. So if we look at a problem like this, it says find the volume of the cylinder, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set it up so I'll have the volume equals pi r squared times the height. So I just plug in the things that I know. I know that the r is the radius, which is 6 feet, and the height is 3. So now we'll just multiply out everything we have. So we have 6 squared is 36. 36 times 3 is 108. So if we are writing our answer in terms of pi, they call it, we'd leave it like this. We would say that the volume is 108 pi feet cubed. Now for all volume measurements, you use cubed because it's a three-dimensional measurement. So we're filling up the space of the cylinder. Volume, what it measures, is the space inside of a three-dimensional object. So that's represented by cubed because it's three-dimensional. So if it was written in terms of pi, if they ask you to write your answer in terms of pi, you would write 108 pi feet cubed. If they ask you to round your answer to the nearest tenth, well, then you have the option, depending on the question, do you use 3.14 or do you use the pi button? For the online textbook, they're going to use the pi button. So unless it says use 3.14 for pi, to be the most exact, you want to use the pi button on a calculator. So when you're doing these, try to find a calculator that has the pi button. You can easily Google search scientific calculator, and they'll have those that have the pi button. But if you multiply 108 times pi, and you're rounding it to the nearest tenth, you would get 339.3, because it'd be 339.29, so I'd round it up here, and again, that'd be feet cubed. I always want to leave my units of measurement when I'm finding the volume. Alright, so that would be the volume of this cylinder here. Now this problem here, it's very similar. The main difference that you might notice right away is they're giving us the diameter, not the radius. So if you remember the volume of cylinders, it's pi r squared times h. So right away I notice that they're giving me the diameter. Also, they're giving me the h, and they're giving me the volume. They're not giving me the h, but they're giving me the volume. So there's a couple other things I have to do here. So it says, the question, find the height of the cylinder. So I'm no longer finding the volume. Also, they're giving me the diameter, so I have a couple things I have to do. The first thing is I'll plug in everything I know. I know that the volume is 88. Pi, I'll leave as pi for now. For my radius squared, now diameter is all the way across. Radius is halfway across. So if I want to find out the radius, but I'm given the diameter, I just divide the diameter by 2, because the radius is half the diameter. So in this case, half of 4 is 2. So it would be pi times 2 squared times h. So then I will square 2, and I will get 4 pi h. Now let's look what we have. We have 88 equals 4 pi h. How do I get h all by itself? Well, it's being multiplied by 4 pi, so I will divide both sides by 4 pi. So I will again use my calculator, and I'm going to do 88 divided by. Now I'm going to divide it by, in parentheses, 4 pi. I'm not going to do it separately. I'm going to put it in parentheses so it's together. So 88 divided by 4 pi. I'll kind of write what I'm typing into my calculator. I'm doing this. 88, see the divided by sign, and in parentheses I'm putting 4 pi. So that's together. Because if you don't do that, they might think they're doing 88 divided by 4 times pi. So you want to make sure that's a slight difference. So when we do that, we get 7.002. We have to round up to the nearest whole number. So the height is 7, and it's going to be yards. The height is a one-dimensional measurement, so it's one-dimensional, so that's why we don't put a squared or a cube there. So it's 7 yards. Okay, so why don't you guys give both of these a shot? They're very similar to the ones we just did. Pause the screen, try them out. When you're ready, press play and check out the answers. Alright, for number 1, so we have volume equals pi r squared, so pi times 4 squared times the height, which is 15. So that means that the volume is equal to pi times 4 squared, which is 16, times 15, which is 240. So I have the volume equals, I'm going to write the number first, 240 pi. And again, this is what's called in terms of pi. So 240 pi feet cubed. I'm just going to check out up here. What do they want me to round my answer to? It's the nearest tenth. So since I have to round my answer to the nearest tenth, I'm going to multiply 240 times the pi button on the calculator, because that gives me a more exact answer than 3.14. Now that's 753.98. So if I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, that's going to become 754.0 feet cubed. For this one here, they give me the volume. I have pi times r squared. They're giving me the diameter, so half of 8 would be 4. So 4 squared times h. So I'll have 16 pi h equals 176. And if I divide both sides by 16 pi, sorry. Well, 176 divided by 16 pi is 3.50, so the height will equal 3.5 centimeters. Alright, so that is what we're going to do today. So there's going to be a couple of problems on big ideas with that. So just take these formulas, plug them in, try to find some missing dimensions, whether it's the volume or the height. Make sure you're using the pi button on the calculator. If you're using 3.14, you're going to get the wrong answers on the BIM. So make sure you're using the pi button on the calculator. Just Google search scientific calculator, and one will pop up that has the pi button. You know, you probably always just Google search calculator with the pi button, and you'll find one. Alright, so good luck. If you have any questions, please write them down in the Google Doc or attend an open meet. Alright guys, if I don't talk to you, have a great weekend.